The PlayStation 5 has been out for a few years now, and it's safe to say that it has delivered some of the most breathtaking and memorable experiences in modern gaming. From cinematic blockbusters to imaginative adventures, the PS5 library is filled with titles that push both technology and storytelling to new heights. With so many choices available, it can sometimes feel overwhelming to pick which games are worth your time. That's why in today's video, we're going to explore 10 of the very best PS5 games to play in 2025. Each one has its own unique world, gameplay style, and unforgettable moments, making them absolute must-plays for anyone with a PlayStation 5. We'll begin with Marvel's Spider-Man 2, developed by Insomniac Games and released in October 2023. If you love swinging through New York City in the first two Spider-Man games, this sequel takes everything to the next level. You don't just play as Peter Parker, you also get to take control of Miles Morales, each with their own abilities and fighting styles. The story is packed with emotional moments, high-stakes battles, and iconic villains like Venom. The traversal system is smoother than ever, making every web swing feel incredible, and the combat introduces new powers that keep battles fresh and exciting. Simply put, this game makes you truly feel like Spider-Man. And with its cinematic presentation, it feels like you're stepping right into a Marvel movie. At number 2 is Final Fantasy XVI, developed by Square Enix and released in June 2023. This installment shifts the series into a darker, more mature story inspired by medieval fantasy. You play as Clive Rossfield, whose journey is filled with tragedy, revenge, and ultimately hope. The game focuses on fast-paced action combat instead of the traditional turn-based style, but it still keeps the grandeur and epic scale that Final Fantasy is known for. The icon battles, massive cinematic clashes between godlike creatures, are some of the most jaw-dropping moments you'll ever see on the PS5. With its sweeping music and larger-than-life storytelling, Final Fantasy XVI is both a game and a cinematic epic. Next is The Last of Us Part 1, a ground-up remake of the 2013 classic, developed by Naughty Dog and released in September 2022. While the original was already considered a masterpiece, this PS5 version rebuilds the game with stunning visuals, improved animations, and enhanced gameplay. You follow Joel and Ellie as they journey across a post-apocalyptic America, facing both human and infected threats while forming one of the most powerful bonds in gaming history. The updated graphics make every expression, every environment, and every tense moment feel even more real. For newcomers or longtime fans, this version is the ultimate way to experience the game's emotional impact. At number 4 is Astro's Playroom, developed by Team Asobi and released alongside the PS5 in November 2020. While this game is pre-installed on every PlayStation 5, don't make the mistake of dismissing it. Astro's Playroom is both a love letter to PlayStation's history and a showcase of the DualSense controller's unique features. From feeling the resistance of triggers to sensing subtle vibrations, it gives you a glimpse of just how immersive PS5 games can be. Beyond being a tech demo though, it's also a joyful, creative platformer that puts a smile on your face from start to finish. It's short, sweet, and surprisingly memorable, proving that even the smallest games can leave a lasting impression. At number 5, we have Demon's Souls, developed by Bluepoint Games and released in November 2020. This is a complete remake of the original PlayStation 3 classic that kicked off the Soulsborne genre. Known for its unforgiving difficulty and haunting atmosphere, Demon's Souls challenges players to master combat, timing, and patience. The PS5 version is absolutely stunning, with detailed environments, smooth performance, and breathtaking lighting effects. For those who enjoy a challenge and the thrill of overcoming impossible odds, this is one of the most rewarding games you can experience. Every victory feels earned, and that sense of accomplishment is what keeps players coming back. Next up is Returnal, developed by Housemarque and released in April 2021. This sci-fi action game tells the story of Celine, a space pilot trapped on a hostile alien planet and caught in a mysterious time loop. Every time she dies, the world reshapes itself, forcing you to adapt and fight harder. The gameplay blends fast, bullet hell style combat with exploration and roguelike mechanics, creating a tense but thrilling experience. The DualSense controller adds another layer of immersion, making you feel every raindrop, shot fired, and dash across the battlefield. Returnal is tough, but it's also incredibly addictive and satisfying. It's a game that rewards perseverance, turning frustration into triumph. At number 7 is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, developed by Insomniac Games and released in June 2021. This colorful action-adventure makes full use of the PS5's power, especially with its instant dimension-hopping mechanic. With no loading screens, you can jump between entire worlds in the blink of an eye, creating jaw-dropping set pieces that feel impossible on older consoles. The game also introduces Rivet, a new playable character who quickly became a fan favorite. Between the creative weapons, fast-paced action, and heartfelt story, Rift Apart is a joyful reminder of what makes gaming fun. It's both a visual spectacle and a heartwarming adventure rolled into one. Our 8th pick is Resident Evil 4 Remake, developed by Capcom and released in March 2023. The original Resident Evil 4 from 2005 is considered one of the most influential games of all time, and this remake honors that legacy while modernizing every detail. You once again step into the role of Leon S. Kennedy, tasked with rescuing the president's daughter from a terrifying cult in rural Spain. The PS5 version features atmospheric graphics, enhanced combat, and a moodier, more intense tone that makes the horror feel fresh again. It's the perfect balance of nostalgia and innovation. The remake shows just how timeless a classic can be when given new life. At number 9 is Horizon Forbidden West, developed by Guerrilla Games and released in February 2022. This open-world adventure continues the story of Aloy as she journeys into new lands filled with robotic beasts and hidden mysteries. The environments are breathtaking, from underwater ruins to towering mountains. Combat combines futuristic weapons with strategy, requiring you to target weak points on enemies and think creatively in battle. The story expands the lore of Horizon in fascinating ways, while Aloy herself remains a strong, relatable hero. Every discovery feels rewarding, making exploration as exciting as the main story itself. Finally, we close with Resident Evil Village, also developed by Capcom and released in May 2021. Acting as both a sequel to Resident Evil 7 and a spiritual successor to Resident Evil 4, Village blends survival horror with action in a gothic European setting. You play as Ethan Winters, exploring a creepy village filled with secrets, monsters, and unforgettable characters, including the now iconic Lady Dimitrescu. The game balances tense scares with blockbuster moments, making it a thrilling ride from beginning to end. It's a chilling yet exhilarating adventure that keeps you hooked until the credits roll. And that wraps up our list of the very best PS5 games to play in 2025. From the superhero thrills of Spider-Man 2 to the horror of Resident Evil. From the epic fantasy of Final Fantasy XVI to the inventive joy of Astro's Playroom, the PlayStation 5 has a library that offers something for everyone. These games not only showcase the power of the console, but also remind us why gaming is such a special medium. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more gaming recommendations and guides. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy gaming!